Do you think England should follow suit? Is Dame Rachel de Sousa right, or is the Education Secretary right that it's up to parents whether they smack their children?
Well, God forbid I smacked you, you'd rightly report me for assault. If I smacked a dog, I'd rightly be hauled up before the courts for cruelty to animals. Yet we say that if we smack our children, that it's the nanny state, that shouldn't interfere, even though we tell parents, for example, that they should put seatbelts and baby seats in the back of cars. So I think the Children's Commissioner is right to call for a discussion and a debate on this. I'm not necessarily calling for an outright ban. I recognise it's very difficult. If a child puts his hand on a fire, for example, you might give that child a very light smack, and I recognise that parents also do the best for their children. But I do think the Children's Commissioner is right to raise this. I think we should have a debate. In Wales, before they banned it, they had a big education programme to try and offer advice to parents as other ways of dealing with children at difficult times. But I am very against violence to children. I think they are defenceless, they are vulnerable, and we don't allow it for adults. So I think that this discussion about whether we should allow it for children should be debated properly across the country.
And you're inclined, you've given quite a nuanced answer there, but it sounds like you're inclined to support a ban if push came to shove on this.
Well, I'm inclined. My sympathies are very much with what the Children's Commissioner has said. However, I do recognise an outright ban may be very difficult because, as I say, if a child puts his hand on a fire and you automatically smack that child's arm even lightly, would that come under a ban? So this is not an easy issue to pass legislation on. I mean, it may be that an education programme from the Children's Commissioner and others who are qualified to offer parents alternative ways might be an important first step. But as I say, if I'm not allowed to smack adults or animals, why should we then say, well, it's okay to smack defenceless children?
Okay. Thank you for that response. Let's talk about something which has raised eyebrows this week. Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister, his institute says that 70% of teenagers should go to university. He's backed by some of your former parliamentary colleagues, George Osborne, and even the Prime Minister's brother, the former Minister, George Johnson. Are they right?
Well, I was the son of an immigrant father, and I was only the second person in my family to ever go to university. Sadly, my older brother, beat me to it, and it was a great time of my life. But I do think that Tony Blair is fundamentally wrong. We know that many thousands of students who go to university are whacking up huge loans but not getting good graduate skilled jobs at the end. And what the mantra should be is not university. It should be skills. And what Tony Blair should have done is said, I'd like to see millions of young people do apprenticeships and technical education as well as university. Why didn't Tony Blair say, well, why not have a 50% target of students doing degree apprenticeships? These are higher apprenticeships. There's no debt at all. In fact, students get paid at the same time. They earn while they learn, and they're virtually guaranteed to get a good skilled job in the company they've done that degree apprenticeship in. So to me, it is a no-brainer. Had these things been available when I was growing up, I would have jumped at the chance to have done a higher apprenticeship. And I often think that the elite, all of the government, and by the way, I went to university myself, but all of the government who went to university often don't understand the values that an apprenticeship or technical education bring, and we should be encouraging that, and Tony Blair should be encouraging that as much as university. In fact, his own son, Ewan Blair, runs a brilliant apprenticeship training a company, and I hope very much that Blair reconsiders.
Now, big debate in Parliament today, controversial about whether it's the right use of parliamentary time or not. But given that it is happening, and given that there will be a vote at the end of the parliamentary day today, do you think the Prime Minister should face an immediate Privileges Committee investigation to look into whether he knowingly lied to Parliament. Have you decided how you're going to vote?
I've just literally come from the House of Commons chamber in order to do the interview with you. I want to listen to the debate, and my instinct is that I have no problem with the Prime Minister going to the Privileges Committee, but I do think that these things should be done once the so-called Sue Gray, that's the independent civil servant who's doing an inquiry into all this Partygate business. It should be looked at when that's completed and when the Metropolitan Police have fully completed their investigation, and then perhaps it should be decided what the next course of action should be for the Prime Minister. So I haven't genuinely decided what I'm going to do this afternoon. It may be that I abstain because I don't object to the principle of it, but I do think that it should happen once all the investigations and the independent inquiry has been completed.
But your option, your favoured option, isn't on the table. It's just the Labour motion. It had been expected to be on the table, the option you favour, but your party have withdrawn that option at the last minute. Have you any idea what's been going on there?
No, I mean, I was I was okay with that option, that amendment. I read it early this morning. I thought that it said that there should be a vote in the House once all the investigations had been completed. I think that's fair. I have no idea why that amendment has now been taken off the table. But as I say, I don't have any personal problem with the Prime Minister appearing before the Privileges Committee and these things to be discussed. But I do think that you have to do things in the right order, and that's why I'm more inclined to abstain, because I think this should happen once all the vote, should happen once all the investigations have been completed.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.